All right, everybody. It is that time again. We're super excited that you're here with us on the Cleaning Hustle podcast. We have a very special, I say that every time, but I really mean it this time, a very special guest with us today. And Lexi, would you mind?
Yeah, so today we have one of my favorite coworkers, Danny Keels.
Yay. Well, thank you. That's quite the intro.
You're welcome.
And it must mean a lot because we don't have that many workers. But if I'm your favorite, I'm winning something already.
No, I said one of my favorites.
Oh, ouch. That hurts a little more.
No, I'm just kidding. How are you doing today?
Peachy. How about you guys?
Peachy.
Man, if I was any better, I'd be twins.
We can't do that. No.
Two of me, that would be bad.
I don't think the world's prepared for that, Dan.
No, not at all.
It barely can handle one.
Well, you've got a carbon copy sitting next to you a bit, so...
I was actually telling Matthew that at lunch today. I said, I'm really sorry about that.
Don't worry.
She walked away to go to the bathroom, and I was like, yeah, I'm really sorry.
Are you talking about because we both get really stressed?
No, just because we both are weird and act goofy, and we got that same personality. It's like...
It was a compliment. I thought it wasn't at first.
I think
no, it was a compliment.
Well, I think my favorite part is I still haven't figured out when either one of you guys are telling a joke or being serious.
Oh, yeah. No.
And I don't think I'll ever figure it out. And that's okay.
We don't want you to figure it out.
Oh, perfect. It's a mystery.
That's our secret.
Yeah, okay. Oh, it's working. So there's that.
Does it leave you on your toes?
Yeah.
Or do you just now you're at the point where you don't even care anymore?
A little bit.
I don't care.
Whatever.
I'm already used to them too. I'm still here.
Is it a joke?
I don't know. I'll just keep doing my work, whatever.
Keels, go to work. Must have been a joke.
Like this morning?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely a joke.
Okay.
All right. Well,
let's get started.
Let's talk a little bit about work, shall we?
Do we have to?
Unfortunately.
Let's talk about your fabulous career. That's why we're here. We want to hear the stories.
Okay. Career and fabulous.
All 25 years that you've been on this planet.
Okay. Right. I would like to brag.
Times 2.5.
I would like to brag. I'm the oldest employee here at Integrity. So I've got that going for me.
Well, why don't you start from the start and tell us how you got started in the janitorial industry?
A lot of starts. Okay.
First, you got to talk about the biggest colossal failure that ever was on planet Earth, that wonderful company you worked for.
Blockbuster.
Yeah, don't forget about that.
Okay, well, we won't...
Be kind, rewind.
Yeah, I started at Blockbuster as a store manager, and they started a video series off called Star Maker, and there was, I think, 18 of us, the very first ever certified training program they had. So we take the training program, all 18 of us get disseminated all out through a DFW, and I think 7 guys actually made it through the program to be store managers. And then there was 2 of us left at the end, and as a district manager, I got to fire the other guy. Kind of weird.
That is funny.
I walked in and said, "Yeah, buddy."
You got to fire your classmate?
I did. Yeah.
Well,
Oops.
you don't get that.
Sometimes you have to make those tough decisions.
Let's start off with failure.
Okay.
Why did Blockbuster fail, and how does that roll over into the janitorial business?
Yeah, Blockbuster failed to adapt and change. Even though I think if Blockbuster would have, that product was null and void. They stuck with brick and mortar stores. They had horrible rents all across Dallas-Fort Worth. You would have stores that were $12,000 a month, and it was really affecting the bottom line. I don't know if y'all remember the commercials where it was I want to say hamster and a rabbit in a cage. That was like their big thing, and that commercial cost millions of dollars because it was put on during the Super Bowl. And that also just cut away at the store bottom line.
Was that their last attempt to try to save it at that point?
Well, that was the last attempt to get their name kind of back into the world. Most people that were Blockbuster folks just came every week and knew them by name. But there was a lot of people that would rent something and just never go back.
It was Redbox, right? That put them out of business.
Yes, and that was shown to us actually over here at one of the Renaissance Tower, where Blockbuster's corporate office was, and they had like 5 or 6 floors. And John Antiago, the CEO at the time, said, "You guys come in and take a look at this and tell me what you think." And it's district managers and store managers, and we all gathered. There's probably about 60 of us. These guys come out, and it's the blue box. And he's like, "Well, what do you guys think of it?" And the thought was to put it all around the stores, and people could rent from the store and return to a box. And he didn't like it. He goes, no, I'm not going to do it.
You know, there was a blue box in the Forney Brookshire.
Yeah, they ended up
They
doing
put it right
some.
next to the red box.
Yeah. And it probably
Which color do you want, red or blue?
red or blue.
You want to take the blue pill or the red
It's
pill?
like, why did this turn into the Matrix all of a sudden?
I don't think those are colors.
Yeah. But I remember they had this big thing later, and they're like, no more late fees. That's going to save the company. And we're all like, I have a question. He's like, what's the question? How are we going to replace 35% of our revenue? And that's what it was. So think of that here. If we lost 35 of our accounts, what can we do different to replace that revenue? And if their ideal to replace revenue, was just start trimming stores and people just left and right.
So they had ideas of like because I could see that decision based on a competitive space. Like they're trying to adapt and evolve, but they didn't follow through with it. They didn't have the follow through side of it.
No.
Okay, it's good to get rid of the late fees because no one else in the industry is doing that, and we have to do that in order to be competitive. But how are we going to reinvent ourselves? So they just didn't see the future.
No, they were too late on.
They didn't have a CEO that was a visionary.
No, he wasn't a visionary at all. Nice man. And I worked a store shift with him one night, and all he knew how to do was take a video, scan it, and hand it to the customer. That was the only transaction.
That reminds me of Undercover Boss.
Yeah.
He would have been a terrible undercover boss.
Yeah, it was bad.
I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
It's my goal one day.
Someday.
Yeah.
But Blockbuster finally laid me off as a store manager. I knew what was going to happen when I got the call on a Sunday night, and the guy said, hey, do you have your pre-street movies with you? Which are the ones that you can rent before they come out. Yeah. He goes, yeah, can you go ahead and bring those in? Yeah. Told my wife, I'm late.
That's code for you're out of here.
You're done. Yeah.
So funny story about Blockbusters related to janitorial. There was a big warehouse up in Plano off of, no, maybe it was not Plano. It was in McKinney.
Yeah, the distribution center.
Yeah. So I had an account right next door to that.
Okay.
Like our customer was here. And so I literally went next door and started talking to the guy, and I got a tour of the facility,
cool.
the whole bit, and I was like, cool. So I was all getting pumped up about it, excited. I was going to give him a janitorial bid, and then like 2 weeks later,
we're gone.
That was the end of it.
It was 1 million square feet.
Yeah, it was a big, beautiful building full of color. It was really nice.
Completely automated. It was a great company to work for because their one thing was to always have fun.
Yeah.
And we did. So
I've never been to a Blockbuster.
You were just so small you don't remember.
yeah, it happened.
It was a Friday night thing.
I was like,
who's going to stop by Blockbuster and get the VHS tape? You or me? That was always the thing.
True.
And if you were really smart, you reserved it ahead of time.
Yeah.
So, all right. How does that translation into you becoming a janitor?
Laid off, I went to another company and became a salesman for print ad, money mailer. I don't know if you guys remember those. You probably don't. But it'll come in your mailbox full of coupons.
What was the other name of that thing?
God, there was another company.
I forget it. It was something.
Yeah, it'll come to
Value Pack or
something. I think that it's a Value Pack.
Oh, I still get those.
Yeah. But Money Mailer, the guy was a franchise, and he was very, very nice. I did that, and then one day, one of the buddies from Blockbuster called and said, hey, I'm working at this company, and you want to come over and go for an interview? I'm like, well, what do you guys do? He goes, oh, we clean. I was like, I don't know about all that. He goes, well, come on, man, you just meet the guys and see what you think. So we met at a Mexican food restaurant. John Farr, Steve Farr, myself, and Mark Layton. We had lunch, and then the guy calls me later, and he goes, yeah, we're going to hire you. I said, oh, great. He goes, but I'm going to wait about 6 months. And I just found out he was one of those kind of guys that also likes to mess with you with that same sense of humor. And then I went to work at that company, and a lot of Blockbuster people transferred over there. And I stayed there for about 8 years. That's how it started. Yeah.
And then you just can't get away from it.
Well, I went from there to follow another Blockbuster person to do city contracts down in Austin. And when that didn't really work out, came back to Dallas, and the guy moved me to work at Alcon. Massive place. That's 3 or 4 million square feet. So I was over that, and you've met Richard Pippin, one of our contractors. He was there with me. And then I left that and went back to ABM and did the Gulfstream account and learned what it's like to be over an airfield and take care of planes, which, wow, that's a lot of money.
Exciting.
$70, $80 million planes.
Yeah.
that hand pick everything inside down to the silverware, and they would make it all right there, which was pretty cool. Then got the call from Dennis Farr, who was related to Steve Farr, to come back to Acme, and then when he passed, I ended up back here.
Yeah, so talk about that transition.
So a smaller company. I did sales and operations both, which is the company you bought. So I'm sure you used a coupon. Probably had no money mailer. And Dennis was a really great
My
boss.
coupon had expired, by the way.
Go figure. Most coupons do. Dennis was a great guy, but he didn't believe COVID was a real thing at all. He would never take care of himself. He had a horrible diet. And I think it was Ladina in accounting, myself, Chris, in operations, Raj in operations, very small, and his daughter, Kayla, who you met. And then when he got sick, he left on a Friday, and he died like the next Friday. Never saw him again. Just lungs froze over, and that was it.
Wow, so sad.
Yeah. Luckily, you bought us, though, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saving grace.
Yeah. So you do sales here now. Did you do sales at Acme as well?
Yeah, I did. Wasn't titled as salesperson, but if you're in operations, you're in sales. Like at Select, it was tag work, like we do here. And the first year I was there, or the first 3 years, I won the tag sales award every year. And no one could touch the numbers. But they kind of got smart with that. They started shifting the accounts around, and you would lose account where you sold all this, and then you'd have to make more new money, and someone else would get the crown. Because y'all see that right now with the way Myra wins the crown every month, and it's hard for anyone to catch her.
So what's your thoughts on that? Should you think that the recurring tag jobs should be counted against the competition?
I do. I don't think they're part. They can be paid on them, but it shouldn't be part of the competition. It should be that month, what new sales have you made?
Right.
And that should be what is the gauged.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that shows a true salesperson.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. No, I agree as well, because you have new people come in. It's kind of hard for them to compete or do anything like that.
Well, and you almost see the defeat on the other guy's face. They're like, great, my 10 grand, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, that could be a solid 10 grand that they just sold from zero.
Yeah,
yeah, and that's
they don't
hard.
have the recurring tag job revenue. Yeah.
But I'm wondering if you take that out across the board, would they've all even had 10 grand?
Right.
Would it have been a lot less?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Policy change.
I like it. Let's make some. They're going to hate me.
So let's talk about acquisition. What was the biggest thing that surprised you through that whole process?
Biggest thing was the attitude of all my coworkers. Everybody was stunned, especially with the fact that Dennis's wife and Kayla said, "Oh, nothing's going to change. Everything's going to be fine. We're merging." And I remember Chris coming to me going, "Yeah, they're lying." And he was right, because they were. And you could tell she didn't want to be here that long. It was the shock and emotional curve we all had to get through. But I kept saying the same thing, because we all did love Dennis. But I kept saying, well, what if you like this guy better? What if? Well, I don't know. I said, yeah, but what if? All you're thinking about is, what if it's bad? What if it's great?
Yeah.
Oh, I never thought about that. So
I have a question to insert in there. You know, coming from a company where someone's daughter took over and then sold it out under you, you know, you and I have had this conversation.
Yeah.
What's it like coming here with you're working under someone and their daughter is also working here?
It's definitely the definition of deja vu. But once again, you're more open. You're more honest. And I see you being open to learning things, where she was like, yeah, my daddy says I'm going to do it this way. If she sees this, she's going to kill me. I'm going to do it this way, X, Y, Z. I didn't see her learning much or taking initiative. And that was very true when the sale was made, because she couldn't get out of town fast enough.
Do you think that was a result of Dennis's leadership, or because I feel like from perspective of bringing Lexi on board and things like that.
Yeah.
I tend to give people a little freedom to kind of explore and figure out their place in the world, so to speak. Do you think that was a byproduct of that, or she just had zero interest in the business?
You know what? I think she had zero interest, but he didn't want to see it.
Right.
He wanted his legacy to be her running that business, and she wanted no part of it without him.
Yeah.
As long as he was there, she was fine. because he could handle the tough things. But when the tough things came and he was gone, she wanted no part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about more fun things.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about sales, our real, money maker here. And so, you did some sales at your previous companies and such. You've done sales pretty much your entire life. Do you feel like your sales approach changed or differed in any way when you moved over to Integrity?
Yeah, it's a different product, same but different. So we started with the small accounts where we were just selling, and Dan knows. You got multi-tenant is one, and your margin is slim. Then you have the sweet spot, $1,000 to $1,500 a month account, and you have a very nice margin. That's the sweet spot, and it's hard to hit. But my focus now is back with the multi-tenant, and the whole team is trying to find that sweet spot of that 1,500. So if I don't continue to change and get better, and you guys saw when, and it's okay to talk about that, to work on my ADHD, I had to get on time release Adderall, and it changed the ability to focus. And taking up all the books, and Dan was a big part of it. Carrie, all you guys just being mentors to me and showing me self-improvement is a great thing. And that's made a big difference. But I know if I don't adapt and change, I can't get better. But you can't always get better.
We had some self-improvement issues around here.
Yeah, we did. There were people that were like, I'm not going to do that. No.
Why do you think people resist that? That's because I can't wrap my head around it.
I think people think, why do I need to change when I'm great the way I am? That can be narcissism. That can be an overinflated ego. People just get to a certain age and a thought process where they don't think they need change anymore. I'm great just like I am.
Yeah, well, that's not true.
Oh, it's not at all.
I feel like everyone's always improving. Even if you're 110 years old, you have something to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we were just talking the other day about it. Doesn't matter the age of the person. Doesn't matter if they're 80 or 20. You can still learn something from everybody.
All the time.
You know, we've all had different paths in lives. So we all have different experiences. We all have different things we bring to the table.
Yeah.
And so, that's important.
Yeah.
So how has all of this self-improvement and all of the different things that you've been through over the last year or so, how has that helped translate into the way that you handle your sales process?
Time blocking has been a big part. And then it's sticking to the time block because a lot of things change. And I think I came to you one day and said, I might have to lock my door to the office. And you're like, why? I was like, I just can't focus. Too many interruptions. And you sit, when you're in the flow, when you've got your calls rolling and you've seen the marble thing I do, I still do that, switching the marbles, making sure I get the
So talk through the marble thing. I think people would be intrigued by that.
Okay, so the marble thing was actually Henry Rockefeller. His first job was to get a phone book and put the phone book in front of him, and he was in a big call center. And he had to take the phone book and make so many calls a day. Well, he went out and got 2 cans, and he got marbles, and he put the marbles in the can. He'd make a call in the phone book, just starting at A and start moving those marbles. And every call was a marble. And at the end of the day, he moved 200 marbles every day. And he outperformed everyone every day. So to me, I just try to find a realistic goal because there's more things to do than just the phone. I usually use the marbles for phone and for LinkedIn and emails. 1 marble for everything I do. So my goal has been 45, and that has changed. That has made me more effective. So I don't miss things anymore. And then the journaling part, always writing down from high performance habits. You write things down, you don't forget because they're always right there. So, and I know that's kind of old school.
Well, what's the number one thing you've learned in the last 12 months?
Time management and more listening, which, didn't work this morning, but listening more. Gosh, it's so much of it. The 6-minute X-ray where you're watching people. Everybody has an eye home, and you two guys actually have almost the same eye home. Everybody will tell you a story or talk back to you what you repeat, and when it comes back to you, you can watch their eyes. It's the blink rate if they're nervous. It's how they answer you, the motion, where their eyes end up, where they go. If, like I asked you guys about the factual things, if you're trying to tell me something factual, you'll look a certain way. If it's emotional, you'll look another way. Everybody does it, but it really helps with interacting with customers.
So does that help you understand whether somebody's interested in the sale or not?
Exactly.
Yeah. So how do you do that talking over the phone?
Oh, gosh, tonality.
Tonality.
Yeah, tonality is very quick. You'll pick it up really fast. And that's one of the things they taught us.
If you feel like they're rushing, get you off the phone.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
probably not interested.
You can slow them down. Just rephrase your question. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you really busy today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. You know what? What would be a good time for me to call you back when you're not so busy? And it completely takes them down a notch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things Lexi and Carrie taught me, because I hopped on ready to give my sales thing at this pitch, and everybody's like, hey, can you take it down a notch? So it really helped.
Every single time I hear the word tonality, because it's like the number one thing I'm always like, now, because it's like the number one thing we preach to people. But, you know, when you preach something over and over and over every single day, now I'm always like, tonality.
Yeah. Listening, tonality. It's kind of hard to put my finger on one thing because I've picked up so much.
See, I'm a believer that the most effective salespeople are the best listeners.
I'm sorry, what?
Exactly.
What'd you say?
So you guys both suck. Terrible salespeople.
Well, then you really messed up putting. We have 2 men on the sales team and 1 woman.
That's true.
And you know the stats are that
and women
listen.
don't listen.
And
it's funny because I was about to make the same joke to you.
You were. Yeah, we listen. We just listen for different things and listen in a different way. So
No, that's for sure.
We're not listening to understand. We're listening to solve a problem.
exactly.
You know, and I think that is the number one thing, especially in sales, is especially with property managers. Women are very emotionally driven, and men are very solution based driven. And so sometimes it's a little bit hard, as like if like Keels was trying to sell me, well, I'm an emotional person, but he's a solution person.
But I'm very empathetic, so I pick up on people's emotions really, really fast. My father was completely not empathetic, but my mother was, and I'm a lot like her, so I picked up on emotions really, really fast.
Yeah. And I feel like you're really good at it, but, you know, some people watching may not be. So how, and I'm just going to speak from your side. How, as a man in sales, do you get to the point where you can be empathetic with women and kind of look past the solution base that your mind automatically goes to?
He'll connect to this really fast. Having a daughter has changed the way I interact with all females. Being married for 40 plus years, it makes a big difference because I've learned to listen over a long period of time.
What's Rose's phone number?
Yeah, let's call her and put her on the
right
mic
now.
and say,
Let's put her on.
ask her.
Let's put her.
And she'll tell you the minute the time release Adderall came along, she goes, "Oh my God, he changed." Because
Well, I think we all saw that.
more focus. And it was the same way at home. Didn't I tell you all the story where my one thing, and you'll get to the performance prompts from High Performing Habits, but you say, I'm going to make a change and split work from home. That's a performance prompt. Where you're going to do it, you have to tell yourself. So I do it in the driveway. What are you going to tell yourself? I'm going to say I'm going to separate work from home. I'll take 3 deep breaths in and out, hold for 4 seconds, let them go. Then I walk inside and separate work from home. So when I did that, Rosemary caught on to it after about 3 days and goes, "What are you doing?" Like, what do you mean, what am I doing? I'm listening to you talk. I'm asking you questions. Why? Okay. Well,
I'm giving you everything you've wanted for the last 40 years.
I'm trying to be a good husband. Why? Okay. Well, it's a performance prop. I explained the whole thing to her, and instead of going, "Wow, that's really great," she said, "I'm so mad at you. You have to take 3 deep breaths to deal with me?" No. It's too late. I was already in trouble. So, but now she's thankful of it because I still do the same thing. So, yeah.
Cool. Good.
Good. Super duper.
Fantastic.
So,
Fantastic.
what was I going to ask you? I don't even know.
I don't know. Also, as you guys know, ex-Army, so that's helped a lot too. There's not a lot, and I see the stress level young people go through. So after being in the military basic training and then even in a combat zone, so I just deal with stress a different way. After you go through things like that, nothing really bothers you the way things used to bother you. It just changes your
Well, and I think getting older and mature also helps that. I was actually watching a podcast the other day, and they were talking about EQ or emotional intelligence levels, and they were talking about like people that seek drama. Basically, if there's a lot of drama in your life, you're not successful.
Right.
And the more you can reduce drama, the more successful you become.
That's true.
But a lot of that has to just do with maturity and learning and understanding how to deal with drama.
Right.
So I'm sure that was a big part of it too. And then life beats you up. You learn how to navigate through things, and all of a sudden, what seemed like a big deal is really not a big deal.
Well, and the last book you told me to read, The Let Them Theory. Oh, that made a big change.
Yeah.
Because I would let people upset me. And then I'm like, you know what? That's how they want to act. Let them.
Years ago, I had a counselor tell me, because I would say, this was with my ex-wife, and I would say, she makes me so mad. I'd be like, and the counselor looked at me and said, no one can make you mad. Yeah. And she's like, you're choosing to be mad. That's a choice you're making. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that's pretty valid. But how many times in our life have we said, so-and-so made me mad?
This is your fault.
So coming from someone who gets stressed out easily, I'm a very emotional person. I'll be honest with that about people. I let my emotions take over like that. You know what I mean? How do you coach yourself into not, like in those circumstances, not being emotional towards people?
That's where the performance prompts come in. If you know you're getting upset and you've already doing 2 or 3 performance prompts a day, you won't get upset. And when you do, when the trigger comes, you'll know how to react to the trigger. And I know it's
it's almost like, in a sense, it's like a mental code word.
It is.
So I can actually tell you literally where I was driving listening to a podcast when the guy said, and I've told you this before, the guy on the podcast said, I give myself 20 minutes to get over anything.
Yeah.
And so it just was one of those aha moments where I was like, you know what? I can do that. I can set a timer, and it doesn't have to be 20 minutes, whatever works for you. But you can literally say, okay, whatever it is right now, I'm going to get over it in 20 minutes. I'm just going to get over it.
Yeah. Just let it go.
So it's interesting. So
emotions will come, but they can control you, or you can control them. And that's what the performance prompts do.
Yeah. I'm excited to get into this because that's like the number one thing I'm working on right now.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say emotional maturity because I feel like I'm already above my age for that. But like emotional maturity, like for me. Right. And like being able to like separate things, not hold on to them. Because I'm someone where like someone will hurt my feelings and a week later I'm like, I can't believe they hurt my feelings last Tuesday at noon.
Why? What's the point?
Yeah.
And on that note, tune in for part 2 because this is where we're going to end this episode.
That was a very